On a chilly morning in August 1961, the citizens of Berlin woke to a shocking sight. Overnight, soldiers and workers had built barbed wire fences through the heart of their city. Families found themselves suddenly separated, neighbors cut off from one another, and streets divided in half. Within days, those fences grew into a massive concrete wall. This was not just any barrier, this was the Berlin Wall, a symbol of division, fear, and the Cold War. After World War II, Germany was divided into 4 zones, controlled by the United States, the Soviet Union, Britain, and France. Berlin, the capital, though deep inside Soviet territory, was also split among the 4 powers. Over time, 2 Germanys emerged: West Germany, democratic and allied with the West, and East Germany, communist and controlled by the Soviet Union. But Berlin was a special case. It became the place where 2 worlds collided. In West Berlin, people enjoyed freedom, new jobs, and opportunities. Just across the border, East Berliners lived under strict communist rule, with shortages of food and limited freedoms. By the late 1950s, millions of East Germans had fled to the West through Berlin. Skilled workers, doctors, and engineers left in search of better lives. The East German government, fearing collapse, decided something drastic had to be done. On the night of August 12, 1961, East German soldiers rolled out barbed wire, tearing through streets, train lines, and even graveyards. People woke up to find themselves trapped. Some families were divided overnight, parents on one side, children on the other. Within weeks, the barbed wire was replaced with concrete slabs. Watchtowers, guard dogs, and soldiers with orders to shoot anyone trying to escape turned the wall into a deadly prison barrier. It stretched nearly 100 miles around West Berlin. For those trapped in the East, the wall wasn't just concrete. It was a message: you cannot leave. You do not control your own life. Even with the risk of death, many tried to escape. Some tunneled under the wall. Others tried to fly over it in hot air balloons or ram it with trucks. One of the most famous escape stories is of Peter Fechter, an 18-year-old who was shot while attempting to cross in 1962. He lay bleeding in front of the wall while guards did nothing. His death shocked the world and highlighted the cruelty of the system. But there were also stories of success. Families dug secret tunnels, lovers reunited, and daring escapes kept hope alive. Each successful crossing became a symbol that freedom could not be completely crushed. Life in West Berlin was full of color, music, and opportunities. The West poured money into rebuilding, and the city became a showcase of democracy and freedom. Meanwhile, life in East Berlin was tightly controlled. Citizens faced shortages of basic goods, long lines for food, and constant surveillance by the secret police, the Stasi. For many East Germans, the wall was a constant reminder that their government did not trust them. It had to physically trap them to maintain control. The Berlin Wall became the most visible symbol of the Cold War, the battle between democracy and communism, freedom and control. World leaders visited Berlin to show support. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy gave his famous speech, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner, declaring America's solidarity with the people of West Berlin. Decades later, in 1987, U.S. President Ronald Reagan stood before the wall and boldly challenged Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." By the late 1980s, communism across Eastern Europe was weakening. Protests spread in East Germany. People demanded freedom, travel rights, and democracy. Finally, on the night of November 9, 1989, an announcement was made. East Berliners could cross freely into the West. Crowds rushed to the wall, overwhelmed with joy. Families embraced after decades apart. Strangers cheered together, climbing the wall, dancing on top of it, and chipping away pieces with hammers. The wall that had divided them for 28 years crumbled in just a few days. Today, only fragments of the Berlin Wall remain, preserved as memorials. Tourists from around the world visit to touch the concrete and remember the lives lost. For Germans, the fall of the wall was not just the end of a barrier, it was the beginning of reunification, healing, and a future built on freedom. The story of the Berlin Wall is not only about separation, but also about the human spirit. It reminds us that no wall, no matter how tall or guarded, can forever stop people from seeking freedom. From the night it was built in 1961 to the night it fell in 1989, the Berlin Wall stood as one of history's most powerful symbols, a line between oppression and liberty. It tore families apart, silenced voices, and claimed lives. But in the end, it also proved that freedom has a strength greater than fear.